Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
We are so back.
Yes, we are.
And I, Sensei Daniel.
Right. So, with all that being said, we're taking a break from the Universal Monster stuff again, and this time we're going to be talking about our very beloved show, Cobra Kai. More specifically, we're talking about Cobra Kai Season 6, Part 2, which just premiered this past Friday, as of this recording. So, obviously, there's going to be some spoilers. So, before we get into the spoilers, let's just quickly say what we thought about the 5 episodes, and then after that point, there will be spoilers laced throughout. So, I thought it was a improvement over Part 1. It's still not great, but it's definitely better than Part 1, I would say.
Oh, 100%. I mean, part one was a bit of a letdown, especially in the beginning, right? Because I felt like they were just, spinning their
There
wheels,
was,
just trying to keep it going to the Sekai
yeah,
Tekai. Because it took them 5 episodes just to decide the team, which I feel like they could have done in one or two.
yeah. The part one was definitely slow. But part two, I enjoyed. It's definitely a step up from part one. Much more action packed and fast paced. But I enjoyed it.
If you love karate soap operas, this is for you.
I will say part two felt more like it. It definitely felt more like Cobra Kai.
I wouldn't go that far. But, so I guess now let's go into spoilers. There's so much to talk about with the amount of crazy things that happen in this 5 episodes. So I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that I did not like. And I wrote notes down too, because, again, I watched this when it came out, like when it premiered on Netflix. So it was late, and I was just jotting some notes down. And first things first is Dimitri is by far the worst part of this of part two. He is so annoying. He is complaining. I liked when the Hawk told him to shut up because I was like, yes, tell that clown to shut up. He is so annoying.
It
He's
kind
just
of is.
always been annoying.
I was just, well, it's definitely more like he like almost reverted back to season one, annoying. Because I feel like in the last couple seasons he was more bearable and stuff. Like he kind of had an arc, but
It's like once
I
he
feel like
he gained the confidence with karate, he wasn't complaining as much.
yeah,
But now he's
but
just so
yeah,
insufferable. Like someone just shove him to a locker and just keep him in there.
Wait, so even the writers knew they kept talking about,
The
I'm going to
MIT.
MIT.
Shut up. So
yeah,
another thing.
he
Oh,
devolved.
the one thing I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the establishing shots of this part two and all the episodes, the establishing shots felt like a straight out of reality TV. There's like the quick cuts, the speed ups, the time lapses. None of the other, establishing shots of Cobra Kai had anything like this. So I'm like, why does this look like reality TV?
Well, this is like the first time I mean, not the first time, but maybe the first time they actually left the valley for an extended period of time, because most time when they leave the valley, it's usually for an episode or two, not to have like full
True,
5 episodes away from the valley.
but I've never seen an episodic TV show mock like have the style of reality TV. It was so bizarre. And if anyone watches this, I hope they know what I'm talking about. It like felt like is a TLC show at some points.
Some people like that.
I guess so. Definitely was not expecting Terry Silver at all. That was probably the second most shocking thing of this part. He was just all naked in a bathtub,
They really
chomping on
did
a
the
cigar.
throwback, like straight out of the second movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right. It's like
Oh
poetry.
no,
It rhymes. No, third movie.
third movie, not the second.
And should we just talk about the ending real quick, or should we just talk about the episodes
Well,
briefly, then build to the ending?
well, is this? I just want to clarify: is Terry Silver being back a part of something you didn't like?
No, I was just talking about some of my notes. It is kind of it's weird because his defeat felt earned at the end. Like his whole thing crumbled at the end of season 5. That's what seasons 3 and 4 were building up to. And now it just kind of feels cheap that he's back. That's
Yeah.
why I was more shocked that he was back, because it didn't really make any
I,
sense.
I was shocked. I feel shocked.
Well, it's funny too because they'll just say, "Oh, Johnny, all these or not Johnny, oh Terry, all these terrible charges against you." Oh, the judge just waved away. We paid off the judge, and Stingray was a terrible witness.
Well, so they said he tried to get Bert to testify for him. Trying to get a child to testify for him.
And I know it's a soap opera, so like you kind of have to expect this kind of stuff. But I know what you're saying too, where they felt like they were fully done with Silver, but Kreese was still lurking in the shadows as he always does.
Yeah, I feel you could have cut Silver out, but what it brought with Kreese, I did kind of like. He's carrying around a knife trying to shank him in the hotel.
This man is insane. I want to know, like, I want to see like an alternate universe where he does succeed like shanking Terry. But it's like, then what? I mean,
No, I
you're gonna be
think
running around the
what I
hotel
really
with a
want to
knife.
see, I want to see recording of the writing room, because I want to see them laughing when they're coming up with these ridiculous ideas. Oh, what if we have Kreese just carry this like essentially like mini samurai sword that's so sharp, and he wants to kill Terry Silver.
Well,
He doesn't want to beat him up. He wants to kill him.
That's, yeah, like they're talking. Was it Terry Silver that other dojo, the guy who was fronting his dojo? They were talking the hall, and you see Kreese around the corner, like ready to go with the knife. I'm like, right in the
He
middle
was
of
like
the
an
hallway.
assassin. He's an 80-year-old assassin. So I also wrote
Yeah.
down another line of dialogue I did not like, and it was from episode 7. And it was Sam talking to her teammates about that really tall guy from what were they, Sweden? Or no.
Axel?
What dojo
Well, I
where
think
were
no,
from?
they were from all across the
Yeah.
world.
Oh, because he was teammates with
Because
that one girl.
yeah, the influencer, she was like Indian, so
Oh, okay.
they were just like assembled from all
Sam
over.
said, and I quote, "Don't call him a monster. You don't know what he deals with."
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
was
that
bad.
was yeah. But
He
I
does
did,
look like an ogre. Like he's just this freakishly
well,
tall guy.
yeah. What did Dimitri call him? Like Frankenstein's monster or something like
Yeah.
that. But I
No,
was like,
I would too.
I was like, he
Instead
looked like he was straight out of
beating their
Terminator.
students, like I think they're trying to call back to the original where Kreese was smacking Johnny Lawrence, and there's a big difference between smacking a high school kid with no future in karate versus at the world event and kind of pushing your students hard. I can't say I advocate for hitting children, but if there's ever were a time to push a student to his limits, that would be the time.
I guess you could argue the whipping part is.
Oh yeah, Craig. I don't know how you can defend the last.
Oh, I'm not saying whipping, but you know they're saying like he's taking the training hard. Like, oh, you're
Yeah.
really pushing it.
I get what you mean. Yeah, like where Sam is on the beach with him, and she's like, you almost it's like there's more to life than just karate. And it's like, well, you're kind of there for a tournament to be the world champion. I think you can.
Yeah, they're hyping up that this tournament is like the end all be all, where
Yeah.
you can get lucrative, sponsorship deals or something.
You can go to college because of it. Apparently, there's martial arts programs for colleges.
News to me.
But no, yeah, but it was. I did like Axel because he was just treated as this big goon. Looked like the Terminator.
So before we go down to, I guess you could just break down some of the episodes because it's only 5. I will leave it at this, and then we could talk about the ending. The ending of this of part 2 felt like the ending of Kingsman, the very first one, where it was just all chaos. So, Craig, why don't you talk about episode 6 for us?
Episode 6.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it was
part
basically
2.
that they get to the Sekai Tekai in Barcelona. They kept, I guess, letting you know that they are authentic Barcelonian people because they kept saying it accurately.
They speak
people-
Catalan.
Oh, if people don't know it, they do say Barcelona. It's not Barcelona. But anyway, they finally get to Barcelona in episode 6. It's just like everyone meeting each other. You find like the rival dojos. Like that one guy, Wolf, had to look up his name. I think he's the sensei of the Iron Dragons. Chosen finally shows up when we saw.
Yes. You keep going. I was just
Yeah, Chosen.
championing
Kamiko, I
that
guess.
Chosen came back.
Yeah, rejected him sort of, even though It's a classic soap opera stuff. You didn't actually see her. You see some man in a towel, and he assumes the worst, so he
Yeah,
runs
it'll
away.
probably be explained that that's probably like either. I mean, I
Her
hope it's not.
cousin.
I hope it's not her cousin, like just in a towel running around.
You
Maybe
know
it's
what I
like a
mean? Like, it'd be like,
massage person, you know.
oh, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be her brother, cousin, someone that she would never obviously date, so he just got the wrong impression.
Yeah, he just storms out, and he's going back to his LITs. He's like 2 Long Island iced teas.
Double feast.
It's so good to have him back because he really just makes it so much better when he's
Well,
there.
I was concerned when he showed up just drunk and was like at a low point. I was like, oh, don't sabotage Chosen. We need him. We need this.
But yeah, Chosen. Yeah, he's the balance between Johnny and Daniel LaRusso.
So I
I
guess
just love
one thing
Chosen.
you're neglecting so far, Craig, is the biggest arc of season 6 with the kids is that Robbie is now distracted after Tori with a Y asks to take a break with Robbie.
Well, he
And
was
then
distracted even before the break, right? 'Cause I think the break was
Yeah,
in the later
because
episode.
they
no,
they
I'm looking at episode 6 right now. And it says that Tori asked Robbie for a break.
Oh, was
Wait,
episode 6?
It was
I
episode
think it
6.
was like midway or like towards the
I
later
think
half of the
I think it's like towards the middle.
yeah.
That causes Robbie to lose focus, and he's distracted, and causes him to lose the round. I think one thing I
Yeah.
didn't like, this happens in another episode. I don't remember which one. Is that apparently they don't want to rally around Johnny calling the shots. The whole point was that Daniel and Johnny are working together, and whatever he's trying to like telling them to do, like be aggressive and whatnot, is causing him to fail. And I'm thinking, like, wouldn't it be better if they rallied around Johnny when Daniel is literally kidnapped in a dog cage? Like, wouldn't that have been so much better that they're finally working together so he can take over for a little bit while Daniel's not there?
Well, it's also one of those things where it's like you've seen over the seasons that where they've joined together and like when Johnny trained the kids and Daniel was training them and they were merging martial arts, like you think you'd be past this point of that where it's
And
like,
they're like,
oh,
oh yeah,
Johnny,
Miyagi Dog is what got us here first off. We should be doing that. Shut up, Sam.
yeah.
Yeah, you tell her.
Or like when they lost and she's like, we wouldn't have lost if my dad was here. It's like
Nah,
you guys
she
were
still
like you
would've
got you
lost.
did you forget the past couple days you guys were getting destroyed?
Also, too, like you said, they merge dojos, like this kind of fighting,
Yeah.
kind of
It's
knock it off.
symbolic of them working together, only for
Like-
that to be undone in the Sekai Tekai when they're like, oh, Johnny's being too aggressive. His style doesn't work. We got to go back to my dad's.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's especially like Sam when she remember they made such a big scene. I forget which season it was, but when they were training to make the jump off the rooftop, and Johnny was like, like, are you always going to listen to your dad? Like he pushed her to to take the next step and everything, and she like finally listened to him. So it was like she almost was like at a point was siding more with Johnny's style. But yeah, it was just it felt repetitive. Like it could have just been a good, maybe the drama is like I think if they rewrote it where it's Johnny rallies them, they win an event, and then Daniel shows up and Johnny's like, dude, where were you? Like, then they maybe kind of clash more as opposed to like the kids just turning on Johnny in that moment.
Yeah, that felt dumb because the drama was they were turning on Robbie because he was obviously distracted and he was the captain, and Miguel rightfully believes that he should have been there because Miguel has been performing well up until that point. I
Yeah.
thought that drama was fine. It's the stupid
Yeah.
nonsense where they're demeaning Johnny again for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they always do stuff like that, where like they got to keep the drama with him and Daniel-san bickering.
I think
he did punch him in the face where we left off, so I could see why they weren't on the best
But-
of terms.
Well, but again, why is he even punching him? Like they're just trying to keep drama
Yeah, that's
going.
true. That's true. They're both like almost 60-year-old adults. They should be able to talk it out.
I know in the show they're probably still like in their maybe mid-50s, but
Yeah.
in the real life, yeah, they're all like these geriatrics are fighting each other.
that's the genius of this show. People should be able to talk it out.
So let's get to the third funniest part in episode 7, and that's we find out later that it's Cobra Kai that they give Daniel false information about Miyagi and his Sekai Tekai headband, and it leads Daniel to go they put him in a dog cage, essentially. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I'm like, what is happening? They're like gonna kill him.
Honestly, I'm surprised they didn't just shoot him. I mean, at that point, like having him locked
What?
in a dog cage.
This man goes from being a wealthy car dealer to ending up in a random dog cage in Barcelona.
Yikes.
Well, no, Colin. The best part about all of that you're missing is that they brought back another character.
Oh yeah, from part 3.
Some
They had to
nameless
do a-
goon
they
from
had
part
to do
3.
a flashback so you could know who that guy was.
Honestly, I wasn't even sure who that was. Like, they showed the flashback so quickly. It's like, which goon was that?
Yeah, well, and then it turns out it wasn't even Cobra Kai. It was Terry Silver that did all this.
That man is just so evil.
So all right, Terry Silver coming back. You could argue whether it's good or bad, but again, the motivation for him to come back, when they do the flashback on him, he's drunk at some underground cage fighting bar in where were they in Thailand or something like that?
I think it was Thailand.
Or Hong Kong?
Was it Hong Kong?
Was it Hong Kong?
Honestly, I have no idea.
I thought it was Thailand.
But he gets all the
Thailand,
charges dropped.
Yep.
Yep. And he uses what's left of his reserves to front Wolf to run him a dojo just so he can beat Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do in the tournament. It wasn't even to win it. It was just to spite them. I think he said he's like, if I'm gonna burn, they're all coming down with me.
Yeah, I think I said this when we did our season 5 review, or maybe it was season 6. Like, these people should just be put into an institute. They're too dangerous to be left around with regular people. Look at the depth this guy is going to just ruin the lives of a bunch of children and adults. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he got all the charges. You get a fresh start. Rebuild his company.
I don't real his company. He's still filthy rich. He used to go these offshore accounts. I'm fine.
So one thing that does happen that's pretty big in episode 7 is that Devin admits to Johnny that she actually cheated. Yeah. Because I was wondering if Kenny was ever going to come back, because it just felt kind of weird that when part 1 happened, they kind of just disregard Kenny and throw him away like a used napkin.
Honestly, they could have just replaced Kenny. They could have replaced Dimitri with Kenny, completely.
Well, I think they wanted that. I guess that arc, or I don't even want to say arc, just have Kenny humiliated, so then he could come back, I guess, more fired up.
Also, too, Dimitri's been around since season 1. He's more of a main character.
Well, the funniest part with Kenny was the fact that the meme about him.
Oh yeah,
they called him shitbutt.
That poor kid.
The other one was got milked. Yeah, he actually I feel bad for him. He's actually just trying to find just do his own thing.
It's kind of like Terry Silver in a way, where Terry Silver wanted nothing to do with karate, and at that point, Kenny wanted nothing to do with karate. And then, what's her name again? Amanda. She drags Kenny in essentially because out of nowhere, it was episode 7 or 8. Carmen is having complications with her pregnancy, and they're hinting that she might die. So Johnny and Miguel have to leave ASAP.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny too, the fact that Daniel calls Amanda, yeah, go get this kid on a plane in the middle of the night and get him here ASAP. The kid's what, 16?
They're acting like Daniel's an NFL owner or an NFL GM, and he's like, yeah, can we just sign this guy? Let's fly him in.
Elevate him off the practice
he's
squad.
Nothing better, dude. He's just waiting around on the practice squad to get pulled up.
Yeah, what about school? Is this in the summer?
Yeah.
Is it the summer in the show?
I guess it must be, right? Because
I think
the first part, they were just spending days training for the tournament, so...
Wait, no, because...
Oh, you're right. Because it's in the fall, right? Because
yeah,
they were going to college.
episode 1 started with them going back to school. That's right. So I guess school doesn't matter for Kenny. He's like, all right, I'll go to Barcelona. Why not? And again,
Apparently, yeah.
this felt rehashed. Kenny thought that Anthony did all that to him. That was kind of stupid. I could see, I could reason with Kenny as to why he'd think that, but I don't know. I just felt a little stupid.
I think you don't. I think it's one of those things where it's you don't have to. You could just cut out that, like you're saying, just cut out that part with Anthony. Just have Anthony at home with like all the other, like Bert and all the other kids who didn't make it, like watching it. Just have Kenny, like, Amanda just talks him into it. They need you. Don't overcome it, and then he just shows up. You don't need the whole like, and then Anthony just downing a bottle of laxatives like with mouthwash.
No, it was a Gatorade.
Yeah, it was a Gatorade.
Gatorade.
I don't think he was doing mouthwash.
He's trying to kill himself.
So another surprise is, sorry, Craig. This is just quick. Chosen and Dayun, that lady with the really long ponytail. They hook up and whatnot. Yeah. Which I guess good for Chosen.
Yeah. Well, it was just funny how they hook up. They started fighting in the middle of a bar and then just intensely making out.
What's funny is that they're both on the same...
nature's aphrodisiac.
They're both on the same mission, trying to find the kids and keep them out of trouble. But Chosen was like a CIA agent. He's trying to blend in. He's like looking around, peeking the corners.
Then he walks up to the bouncer and he's like, "I'm looking for teenagers." Like,
all right, buddy.
Yeah, maybe you want to try the other bar.
Craig, what are you going to say? Then I have something else to say after you.
I just didn't care for the Carmen health scare.
Yeah, that felt tacked on.
Yeah, especially when you know that they have to be there.
Well, yeah, because they fly out, from Barcelona to LA, then fly right back. I don't know. It just didn't really feel like that accomplishing. Oh, she's actually fine, guys. Haha, just kidding.
Then she's like, "Don't come back unless you win." Or no, I don't think she said that, but she's like, "You guys better win now." It's like, why did we have?
It
was silly. So another thing that was very silly, and I guess maybe the writers did this to really stick it to Dimitri, was they're at this, what was it, a bar, and Hawk is FaceTiming Moon, and then he accidentally shows Dimitri dancing with some other girl, and then Jasmine just dumps him, and rightfully so. I don't know what he's just being stupid. Someone who's going to MIT, he's pretty dumb when it comes to that, I guess.
Well, the worst part too is he tells Hawk, "Hey, we've got girlfriends. Keep in the cage," and then he immediately runs off to the first girl he gives attention.
Yeah, I just felt like the writers were just trying to stick it to him. Like, oh, Hawk tells him to shut up. Yasmin breaks up with him. Like, yeah, kick him while he's down. Loser.
But he was saying too, like, oh, you're just trying to get back at me. It's like if you don't want to get in trouble, don't do something stupid.
Yeah, seriously.
And Dimitri was like, he's like, oh, you're just jealous she chose me. And Hawk was like, she picked me first, and I rejected her.
Yeah, just like. Just stupid. Like I said, for a smart guy, he's very dumb, lacks social skills.
Well, that's also
Complaining
just
the whole time.
The dumb things that are just in the season are honestly unnecessary. Because what, is that going to motivate Dimitri? He's not very good at karate anyway.
Well, I'm glad people finally pushed back on him too, because he's like, yeah, I'm going to MIT. He's like, okay, we want to win this thing. Like, could you shut up about MIT? We want to actually win this tournament. Like, who cares? Can we actually do what we set out to do?
Yeah. So then in episode 9, they talk about Terry Silver's background, it seems. Kenny shows up, and this is really dumb, too. They think when Kenny shows up that he's a plant for Terry Silver, and they're not trusting him in that that round they were doing where they have to tag each other in and out. Oh, by the way, this is, I guess, just something on the Sekai Tekai. It's really dumb that they have all these events, because I know they did that to drag it out. But realistically, it was a karate tournament. It could be done in 2 episodes. All these other skills and challenges are kind of dumb.
Well, if you ever watch a real one, it's very boring. Most of these things are going to be very boring.
Well, yeah, there's multiple matches going on.
Well, it's pointless to have all these point-based events just to be able to save yourself in an elimination style round. Like, what's the point then?
Well, because you
Like,
get better seating.
well, I get that, but in terms of like the story writing, it's like you know who they're gonna face. It's not like actual real life, like where there's real suspense. You know they're gonna have to make the distance. You know, I just think it's one of those things where it's like they could have just had a more traditional style. It's like having like seeding. It's like, well, you know they're gonna beat these other teams. Like they just had the over the top Irish team. What were they called? The Dublin or
Dublin Dynamite.
something like that. But I get it,
Oh, the
but
Dublin Car Bomb.
What?
IRA joke. Don't worry about it.
Irish car bomb.
So another thing in episode, I think this is 8 or 9. So, what's his name? Kwan is trying to get under Robbie's skin. So he's like trying to make these advances on Tori, which he's clearly not reciprocating. So
I want to emphasize clearly not reciprocating.
That makes Robbie start drinking a lot, and in a drunken stupor, he ends up going to Zara, and then they hook up, or it might not have even been a hookup. He probably just like fell asleep because he was really drunk. Maybe she took advantage of him. Who knows? But then, of course, as he's leaving her room, Tori happens to see it. More drama.
Oh, well, that's the hilarious part too. Like, of all the times to come out of the elevators, he's coming out of the room, of course. I mean, I know it's a soap opera, but you gotta love the timing. It's maximum drama.
You know that girl's a real life karate champion.
I guess it makes sense because she's definitely fighting better than most people.
Well, she's definitely fighting better than the actors. I'll tell you that.
Well, you can tell who's like probably a.
Yeah, you also didn't need to make her like an influencer. Just have her be like Axel, where they're just like a machine.
No,
Like,
you don't get it. That's why we hate her. We hate influencers.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. It just made it more silly. You know, you want
No,
to
Craig, I didn't hate her. I hated they included it in the show.
Well, that's why they want you to hate her because she's an influencer, like probably a degenerate.
Just have her. I'd rather just be her. Just have her be a Terminator like Axel.
Can we talk about something that surprised me? So in episode 9, Cobra Kai actually loses. Robbie beats Kwong, and they actually lose and are eliminated from the tournament. Now, for a second, I was thinking, like, they could be really, like, what's the word? They could really pull a fast one on people if Cobra Kai is done for the rest. Like, they're done for the whole tournament. I would be shocked if they had the gumption to do that. And, of course, they did not. And just like dodgeball, we find out that some team tested positive for PEDs. They get kicked out, and Cobra Kai is back in.
Which I found so funny because all the kids on that team looked normal, but then you look at someone like Axel, and I'm like, he's not the one getting drug tested. Dude's like 6'5", and he's head and shoulders over everyone.
How come there's no weight classes? I mean, that guy belongs in his own weight class.
I was like, you pick the team of the most average-looking people, and then you got Terminator over here, no drug test whatsoever.
I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, of course.
No, you love it.
I mean, it was kind of funny that it was just like dodgeball, but I just couldn't believe. I would have given them so much credit if they actually just had Cobra Kai eliminated there, and then they had to take on Terry Silver because he's the bigger threat.
See, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it actually. See, this is I like when I said before I enjoyed it. These are the parts that I enjoyed. Like they brought back the just such ridiculousness behind it.
Well, speaking of ridiculousness, too.
Free go. Oh, I want to say that twist actually got me. Because when they eliminated, like, wow, they actually eliminated them. I'm very surprised. Well, because they were building up the Iron Dragon, so I thought, okay, I guess they'll be the big bad to take down. But the moment they had that PA call, where the guys come to the lobby, I'm like, no, I think they're coming back.
Wait a minute, yeah.
Well, I also, it would have made sense, too, like, also to the point that now they established Silver's back, and now Cobra Kai, like, Kreese wants to kill him. I was thinking maybe they're going to join forces to stop Silver. Like, it's ultimately, like Craig's saying, to bring down the Iron Dragon. like it would have like that's why like Craig, I agree with you. It did kind of get me because I was like, oh, are they gonna make now, not Kreese a good guy, but he's gonna now side with them to try to stop Silver.
That's what I
There's
thought.
a-
Now Cobra Kai's back in the tournament.
Well, you
Yeah.
have
Well,
to.
it's the soap opera. You gotta roll with it. The
Well, speaking of
melodrama.
soap opera, Craig, this adds more to it because the one plot line I really did not like in part one, they expand on that in episode 9, where Terry Silver gives Daniel an envelope, which shows that Mr. Miyagi killed his opponent in the Sekai Tekai.
I wonder if it. I guess it's. So maybe it's like Miyagi's brother or whatever. But I don't know. There's gonna be some explanation for it. It's gonna make him be a bad guy. I already see it. Like they've been dragging, in my opinion, dragging out too long. Because it's gonna be. Oh, he was actually innocent all along.
That
It'd be
is one
funny
thing.
if
It's
he
like
killed that guy like Optimus Prime killed Sentinel.
I just find it so
Not being a senior citizen.
no, Mr. Miyagi.
You
But-
didn't betray Miyagi. You betrayed yourself.
Oh my god! You imagine when Daniel had that nightmare if he said that exact line. He's fighting younger Miyagi.
Instead of like a sword, he just had a gun out for no reason.
He pulls it out of his
Daniel's
gun.
son betrayed himself.
No, you keep
Mr.
talking
Miyagi.
about Transformers. We should review Transformers 1. Anyway,
Yeah. Anyway,
I just feel like with Miyagi, like there's no point of bringing him up at this point or continuing anything with his backstory. It's like it's not about that anymore. Like I feel like we're clearly past
clearly.
Yeah, it's like we're like just focus on the like this is the finale. Just focus on the kids and finally putting an end to Cobra Kai. And there's enough at stakes. Like it just you don't need to have Daniel chasing down something about Miyagi. And at this point, it's a little tiresome of like him like finding things to realize like Miyagi, isn't a deity. He's a normal person like everyone else. They have a past, Like I don't get it. Especially like when they kind of justify like if he did have a low point and like what does it prove like if he accidentally killed someone in a tournament or if he killed him maliciously, like Daniel said like, Miyagi was at a low point. He just lost his wife and infant child. Like so he went through a dark spell, and then he regained himself. Like, what does it matter? Like,
I just think it's gonna be a waste of time because I think in the end he'll be justified in doing whatever he did. So we wasted our time just to be like, oh, he actually was a good guy all along.
well, we know he's a good guy all along because we know what he did in his later life.
Well, yeah, that too. But what I mean is like
No, I
they'll
know
say
what you mean.
even at the time he was good and he was just actually a self-defense guy.
I bet you it was something.
Even in a
Like,
self-defense situation, what are they supposed to do?
he hit the guy, maybe hit him too hard, and the guy went to like cardiac arrest or something. He just died. It's probably something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, and they showed that flashback too, where like he's like no tournaments. Maybe that's why like he might accidentally kill somebody.
it's just like why? There's enough at stake right now with the tournament.
Well, the only thing I can think of is, do you remember in Karate Kid Part 2 when Chozen wanted to fight Daniel to the death? Maybe it was somebody from that village in Okinawa that Miyagi was going up against. And that guy, maybe all he saw to end the fight was by death, and Miyagi obliged him.
Well, he got put in a self-defense situation.
Miyagi did?
Yeah, when you get put in a self-defense situation, what are you supposed to do? You got to
Yeah.
defend yourself.
He gave him the Miyagi blow and
Wow.
killed him.
It's just
The
it's just
Miyagi
like,
gat.
there's enough crazy things going on. But
Well, there's more crazy things to go on because the tournament continues on with Cobra Kai, Iron Dragons, Miyagi-Do, and the Furia de Pantera. And, it's just like standard people fighting and whatnot. And then everything just completely escalates when the host guy, Gunther Braun, tries to get everybody off the mats, and then Sensei Ivanov of Tiger Strike, the people who got removed for illegal PEDs, knocks him out. And then that's when the whole brawl just happened. That's when I said it's like the ending of Kingsman, when was like Richmond Valentine used that device and it just made everyone aggressive.
I was laughing so hard when he's talking. The guy just comes out of nowhere. It looked like WWE just clocked him.
So everything is just it's just complete chaos. Miguel and Axel fight. Sam beats that Irish girl captain. Robbie and Tori fight. Or no, they dispose of some Cobra Kai and they beat up Zara. So then Kreese, in all this chaos, he wants Terry Silver. So he has that knife in the back of his belt. And he's making his way to Terry Silver. And then they're fighting each other. And then Kreese, he smiles, Craig. He smiles. And he reaches for his back. But he doesn't have the knife. He dropped it on the mat. And then, doesn't Daniel and Johnny come to fight Silver or something?
Yeah,
Well, Johnny goes to fight Silver to save Kreese. Daniel's still on the
that's
on the
right.
mat because they were fighting that guy. He was fighting that guy, the Sensei Wolf.
Right. That's right. So on the mat, who gets the knife, my friends? None other than Quan. He wants to kill Axel because Axel's kind of giving him a run for his money. And then Axel, he gets the knife, he jumps up in the air, and then Axel hits him, and this guy, Quan, he lands on the knife and he dies.
Kills himself.
I couldn't believe what I just watched when that happened, where it ends with actual murder. Well, not really. I guess...
He's put in a self-defense situation.
Suicide? Maybe? I don't know. The point is that it ends with death, where the dummy falls on the knife and dies. And I'm surprised. So, obviously, whenever there's something being broadcast, the FCC is probably watching it. They have that 15 or 10-second buffer. I think it would have been cut way before any of that happened. But it's funny that Gunther's like, the whole world is watching some kid die. He impales himself, then he waits a little bit, then he says, cut the feed.
Oh yeah, first thing I wake up, I'm saying cut the feed, all right? We don't need people. I know people already saw them fighting, but they don't need to see any more.
I think they should have, realistically, the feed would have been cut as soon as that guy got knocked out.
I think as soon as a brawl breaks out, a brawl doesn't look good as it is.
So yeah, Part 2 ends with death.
Taekwondo.
Quan, who we didn't really mention throughout, but I think we mentioned him in Part 1, where he was like this cocky hotshot guy who's pretty good. But, he wants to get under people's skin. But ironic, that knife gets under his skin and kills him.
I just can't believe he died. I wasn't sure to laugh or be shocked.
I was shocked. I wasn't really laughing because it's like, oh my god, he actually died.
I was just laughing at the whole brawl broke out.
Well, part of me wants to laugh just at the ridiculous that some guy tries to murder someone with a knife and ends up just falling on his own knife and dying.
Well, essentially, in that big brawl, we had 2 murder attempts. First is Sensei Kreese wanting to kill Terry Silver, and then the other one was Quan trying to kill Axel. Which makes no sense. Why would Quan want to kill Axel? And it's ridiculous that Kreese wants to kill Silver, but I get it, and he's also an old man, so what else does he have to live for, really? I get that. But Quan just wanted to kill this guy in a room full of a bunch of witnesses?
With a camera, it's being broadcast.
Yeah, it's being broadcasted.
We were just clowning on Kreese for trying to murder Terry in a hotel, but at least there were no cameras in the area. This guy's on live now, broadcasting around the world in a room with 200 people, and he's just gonna kill a guy right there.
He wants to kill a guy in the middle of the mat where there's God knows how many people just around there watching, and then it's on TV being broadcast worldwide.
Honestly, I will give them so much respect if in Part 3, when they obviously confront Kreese about it because it was his knife, if he just goes, "This is war. You're gonna lose a couple soldiers," and then just walks on.
He probably will say that.
Do you think he's actually dead?
Yes.
Quan?
I think that guy is dead.
I mean, I'm only saying it's just because it's a soap opera. You never know. He actually just missed his heart.
I have to see where the knife was. I don't remember where it was.
It was right in the stomach.
That's a lot of blood.
All right, let me pull it up real quick. You guys.
No, it was right in his stomach. It's
All
a
right,
critical. It could be a critical
confirm.
wound.
Let me just quickly look.
Is Daniel gonna do the clap thing and bring him back?
That'd be so funny. Well, didn't he try doing that? And then he's like, "Oh, let me get a trainer." Was that he did that to Robbie in season 1?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a while.
Oh my god, there's so many stupid. I just watched the credits. Oh my god, I'm trying to get to season 6, and it's like making me go through season. Why is Netflix so stupid? I'm just trying to click on the episode I want to watch. Okay, let's quickly skip.
I said,
Ad
part of me
free.
does think that he is still alive.
All right, let me see where the knife is. I mean, everyone is just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this guy."
Even Terry Silver like winced. Like it's bad when
What's
Okay,
funny, this is
he's
what these
kicking
people
him.
advocate for. Their karate
He
war.
kicks his leg. It looks like it hit him in the chest.
it's almost like either stomach or between the chest and stomach. It's a critical spot.
Okay, he's still laying on the ground. There's a lot of blood. Even Kreese is like mortified.
Yeah, like it's bad when Silver and
Oh
Kreese are
no,
like
it's like right under his sternum. He's
Yeah.
dead.
he's dead, Jim.
He's dead.
Oh, Kreese, I don't know why Kreese is so shocked. He's tried to murder a couple of people. Like, was it season 2 or 3 where he's like, "Time for you to join your sensei."
Yeah,
But they told-
time for you and Miyagi to reunite as he takes a shard of glass to
Okay,
slit
so
Daniel.
let's do a quick count. How many times has Kreese attempted murder in this series in Cobra Kai?
We're probably gonna forget a couple because there are times where he's very subtle about it, like not directly trying to murder someone with a knife, but he like try to
Well, he
get them
did
to
kill
die.
somebody. He killed his commander in.
Well, he was about to choke. He was about to choke. Yeah, he killed his commander.
He almost killed Johnny
He was about to, and then he attempted to kill Daniel.
with a shard of glass. That's 2 attempts of murder. He wanted to kill Terry Silver, so that's 3. There's probably more. Maybe you say it could be 2 because he does want to kill Johnny. It feels like. So that's the whole part of part 1 where he's shedding his weakness of Johnny.
He did kill a snake.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Did he put snakes in one of the Russo's cars?
He probably
Like
did.
poison the snakes?
I would love to do a final tally count of all the crimes that were committed in the whole Cobra Kai series. And, for fun, too, it'd be cool to see all the crimes committed in the movies, too. So, I do remember we talked about predictions, and I predicted when we did season 1, or part 1, that Hilary Swank would come back. I don't think she's going to come back. I'm just going to say it. You know what?
I mean,
They might. If they literally dug up some guy who was on screen for 2 seconds. Okay,
It's different
you know
because
I think it's
I
a
just
matter of
got it.
maybe
maybe
she doesn't want to.
Maybe that too. But if she does come back, she'll be the one that tells Miyagi about the Sekai Tekai. Because maybe they'll say something stupid like maybe Miyagi confided that into her and not Daniel.
I was thinking the exact same thing. My theory was it all leads to her.
Yeah.
Where she's gonna she won't be a major part of part 3, but she'll have like an episode where she just talks with him and then they go their separate
Yeah, it'd be
ways.
like Allie appearing.
Because if they after they talk and he's like, you know what, and like and then she's the one to bridge all the kids together, like the show would have been a waste.
Or do you think that Jackie Chan will appear in part 3? Because as we know, there's going to be a Karate Kid movie with Daniel LaRusso and Jackie Chan's character, Mr. Han. So do you think that part 3 could bridge into that movie? Because part 3 is coming out February 13th of 2025.
Like, is Jackie Chan a relative of the guy that Miyagi killed in the tournament?
do we know if that's in the same universe? I mean,
I do
assuming
not
it is,
know.
right?
I guess I'm going to assume it is, but it couldn't be. I don't know.
I just think it'd be weird not to have Johnny Lawrence in it.
Yeah, you have to have Johnny.
He's on the cover. It's
So,
got some little
one
kid
thing-
and Jackie Chan.
That they did not really talk about was Tori's mom's death. Because I know, Craig, you predicted that Kreese killed her. And that nothing was mentioned of that. So I'm wondering if they're going to save that for part 3 or that was just incorrect prediction.
I forgot about
I'm still holding on to that.
Because then we could add that to Kreese's column of murder. Well,
I
technically,
still
it's
think
indirect
think he
murder for
killed him
Grease because that was his
or killed
knife.
her.
He could have killed her, but I do think that Tori's mom had just been sick for a long time. But they really did show her hand um, fisted up. But I guess that could be like a physiological reaction to dying.
Mm.
I don't remember what I said last time, but my theory is just that he wanted like someone else on the team. And that's how he got Tori,
Just killed her mom.
manipulating her. I mean, honestly, do you really think this guy wouldn't do it?
Yeah, that's true. It's masterclass manipulation right there. Let me just kill your mom and you'll come join me.
Because I think he even said something to this part where he was saying, "You don't want to make your mother upset. Do you want to make your mother proud?" Like perfect manipulation.
So all we know so far about part 3 is that the last episode of Cobra Kai is called Ex Degenerate. And that is in reference to the first episode where it was called like Ace Degenerate or something, or Ex Degenerate. I actually
I
don't
w-
know what the first
it,
episode is called.
it's. I will say though, in terms of predictions, it's
Ace
coming back.
Degenerate. Yeah.
It's coming back to the All Valley for some reason. Only the All Valley in all the world is going to be able to hold the Sekai Taikai. It's going to get relocated there.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to have to move it back to California or something. Because they're like, yeah, we can't do it here, and whatnot. But the thing is, if it goes back to California, though, what happens to Kreese? Because he's a fugitive.
Well, remember when he was telling Daniel-san, he was, "Oh, well, what are you gonna do? Go after some poor veteran PTSD?" It's like, yes, you tried to kill people and you've escaped jail.
Yes, you are a maniac. You should be nowhere near people.
He's mocking
Especially
him.
children.
You should have a straitjacket on you the whole every day.
No, please let me out the karate war.
So, any other predictions we have for
Uh,
part 3 now? This is it. Our
I
last.
really
Unless-
have no idea where they're
part.
gonna go. That's on such a
Unless-
cliffhanger.
I can't say I expected. I mean, I think I knew the Sekai Tekai wasn't going to be completed. I think I might even said that.
I don't think
first
anyone
edition.
could have
I
predicted
don't think-
someone
yeah.
impaling
I don't think
themselves.
anyone was going to expect Kwan to die. You would have to be like the luckiest man in the world to predict that. I do think though they'll probably go back to the valley.
Oh, I wonder. I don't think they'll do this, but maybe the tournament gets called off for some
Maybe
reason.
because of the death.
And then
It makes everybody go back.
yeah, and then they're like, well, we'll have our own tournament to settle this once and for all.
Yeah, I agree. I think that might happen. And I guess is the show gonna wrap up like
I will say
is
I
Miguel
predict
gonna
that.
get to Stanford?
I predict that, and I also not Miguel getting to Stanford, but I predict maybe something happens with MIT. Maybe Hawk goes to MIT with Dimitri. No, because he didn't get in, right?
I don't think he even applied.
Yeah, I don't think he
Yeah.
applied.
Maybe Dimitri relinquishes his his acceptance to it, especially after he got broken up with.
I don't think he would do that. It'd be kind of crazy if he did do that.
I mean, he also danced with a random woman after scolding his friend for potentially doing it.
This is true. This is true.
But yeah, and I think the Miyagi theory somehow is going to go to Hilary Swank. That's my
I think
bold
so
prediction.
too. I think so too. Because for a show that has been digging up characters from the Karate Kid movies, it's like how could you not bring her back? Unless
Maybe they're
again,
saving her for Legends.
maybe is that what it's called? Karate Kid Legends, the movie.
I think so.
Unless Hilary Swank, I mean, I don't think she's doing anything these days. But unless she really does not want to come back for a good paycheck, I think she's going to appear in part 3.
Do you think in any way, shape, or form, a brief cameo, at the very end, Jaden Smith?
No,
that'd be
shot.
cool. But yeah, I don't think that'd be kind of weird. I mean,
Like
what
Jackie
is
Chan,
Jaden Smith doing these days?
Philosophizing.
I mean, I
Those
understand.
trees are blue. You remember that
I
tweet?
understand. I understand. Like Jackie Chan. I don't think that would happen, but I would understand that to market for the movie. You know, maybe like at the end, it's like almost like a mid-credit scene, like where Daniel's like traveling, and then he like meets Mr. Han, whatever, you know. But
Mr. Han accidentally crashes into him with his car that he always fixes up and destroys.
he just has a sledgehammer too.
I would love to see a fight between Daniel-san and Mr. Han because Mr. Han would just like beat him to a pulp. Setting aside the fact that one guy is a master stuntman and practicer of all types of martial arts, and the other guy is a younger-looking 6-year-old man. Setting aside that fact,
That's Ralph Bakchi's only accolade: a younger-looking 60-year-old. That's such a backhanded compliment.
what's true? I mean, this is one thing that has always been consistent with Cobra Kai. Everyone always talks about the action scenes, but the choreography's always been kind of lame. It has gotten a little better.
Well,
But
I think
I don't think they practice enough, and you could tell when it's little soft kicks, and
well,
they
I
use
think
a lot
like
of cuts to hide
well,
the
like
impact.
yeah, or well, you can see night and day with someone like the girl who plays Zara, who actually is a
Or
you know
Quan too. That guy definitely does something.
yeah, like you could tell night and day who is an actual martial artist and can move and kick and punch, as opposed to someone like Dimitri.
Yeah.
Like I'll give like obviously I give the older cast a pass because they're 60 and up. Like I'm sure they also don't want to be doing spinning kicks and pulling a hamstring or raising their cholesterol.
But like
But,
Robbie, he looks pretty convincing because I think he looks like he does those backflips or whatever. So
yeah,
him and
and
Miguel,
I think Miguel, yeah, him and Robbie and Miguel are
and
definitely
maybe Hawk, but just everybody else, where you could just kind of you could tell it looks kind of dumb, not dumb, but it looks kind of off.
yeah.
The choreography.
Like when they have the same cuts to their fight scene as 80-year-old Kreese, it's not good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even some of the younger cast too. Like you can definitely tell, like some people, like it's not just me, but I feel like Samantha has just gotten much worse.
Yeah. Well, she's just a terrible character too, but yeah, she's gotten worse with that.
I will say though, one major thing I did not like in this season was like Robbie as captain. I know it's supposed to be an arc and create drama, but I just like we're getting towards the end of the finale. Like we started with Miguel, let's end with Miguel. Like I know they're
Yeah.
probably in part 3. They're going to somehow Miguel. He be when the tournament gets thrown away and Miguel he rises up, becomes the captain. But it's like it should have just been him. Like you don't need to subvert expectations there. It started with him. It ends with him. Like and also even though he wasn't captain, he wasn't the official. He was the captain in it. He told Robbie to man up. He was the one in that one event where they're for some reason they're on an elevated mat and throwing each other off of it.
Yeah, that seems counterintuitive.
Like it's Mortal Kombat.
Just because there's mats doesn't mean it'll exactly break the fall. Like, what if you get knocked off and you land on your head?
No, or if you go to break your fall and you land on your arm,
yeah, you
and
stick your arm out,
snaps. And also too, it's like yeah, like you're getting kicked in the face. Like you have no control how you're gonna land.
Yeah.
But again, like in that one scene, Robbie gets distracted for some reason. He looks out in the crowd at Tori in the middle of the fight while they're elevated 20 feet above the air. And then Miguel shows up and takes on 2 people and wins it for them. Like just have Miguel do it there, and then you could have Robbie distracted, but just don't have him as a captain. Also, Miguel is just a more likable character. Like Robbie, still, like I know he has his arc and stuff like that, but I don't know. He just has that. He always just has that like look on his face.
He looks depressed, but he's definitely a lot better as a character than he was in like season 1, where he was angsty, mopey boy. Which is crazy.
Now he's just angsty, moping leader.
What's crazy is that season 1, in the time frame of all these 6 seasons, it's only been like a year and a half, I think.
Yeah.
And everybody just looks so much older. Like, look at how young Miguel looked then and now.
Yeah.
Well, I think with anybody in at least the main cast
Well, not
has
Ralph
been there since
Macchio.
season one. Man doesn't age.
Uh, yeah, that was one thing. I was just like, just have Miguel be the captain. It feels right. Like having Robbie there and then being distracted. I know it's
Well,
part of
the
the
whole
drama, but
captain thing is kind of stupid because it's like you need your teammates to advance, but then isn't the final fights just the captains?
Yeah.
That's
Well, I mean, the whole
so
structure of the tournament
incredibly
is
stupid.
I wouldn't call the whole structure of the tournament great, but it's great for drama. Maybe
Oh
not
yeah,
for a karate tournament, but
yeah. The whole captain thing is really silly.
yeah, it should have just been kind of more traditional. Like your teams go against each other, and you go based on
And everybody's televised,
Yeah,
not just the captains.
yeah,
well, I think what you probably would do is it'd be like you ever did wrestling. It's like everyone goes, but like first pair goes and all six pairs fight, and then like whoever the point total is, that team wins or whatever.
yeah.
I
Because
have no idea what real karate tournaments are like, but I imagine if there's a team, it's something to that effect, where the whole team matters, not just the captains.
it would be more like a wrestling match where it's collective point. It's collective point scoring. You know, like you can earn points in a match, but the winner of it gets how they win. They get those amount of points. But
Well, yeah, it
I
depends
just
on the whole team.
and then also too, if Miguel is captain, right? You can then set up drama for him where now he it would be perfect at the end where he has to fight Terminator, who's now likes his girlfriend, his mom. You don't maybe have it resolved in the same episode, but he has to stay and fight, and not knowing if his mom's okay. Like you kind of have all this tension and stuff on Miguel's shoulders, and he has to lead his team. That's better than Robbie being distracted because his girlfriend logically told him to take a break in the middle of the biggest tournament of their lives and didn't say we're breaking up, just we need to put this aside so we can focus on our tournament. Like she didn't really do anything illogical.
Well, to be
Honestly,
fair,
she
the
did
only
the
reason
mature
why
thing.
Robbie's the captain is so they could dig Miyagi hole, or they could dig like their team into a hole because he's distracted.
Well, I just think that you could have your team
But
distracted.
I don't mind that Robbie's the captain because he did beat Miguel fair and square.
Which
Well, but that's also the writing. I mean, they were like basically even.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
because they both beat each other. So it's like that any of them could. It's like Daniel and Johnny. They could beat each other on any given day, but I don't know. I think it's for me personally because it started with Miguel. I like Miguel more.
Well, this
Like
is not the end though, so we still have to see how.
I know, but it's going to get that's what I said. I feel like Miguel will probably come back. I just didn't like for this part like the focus on Robbie. Maybe it's also because I don't know the Robbie just always has that stupid look on his face. Like
I
Well-
didn't mind Robbie being the captain.
But other than that, I still enjoyed all the ridiculousness that went along with it.
Yeah,
Don't-
definitely a lot better than part one. It's still not on par with like season 5. I thought season 5 was perfect. There's just too many dumb things that just bog this down a little bit.
Well, don't worry, it's ending soon.
Oh,
Hey,
and also prediction Stingray's coming back. Part 3. He's got to be
Oh.
there for the finale.
I don't know what he's gonna do. He probably show up with like Bert or something. So it'd be funny if he shows up with like Bert and that other little kid, and then like police just arrest him because they think he's being like a creep. That'd be so funny. He just gets arrested.
they think he's being a creep.
All right, he is a creep who hangs out with kids.
Turns out Stingray was trying to get into a Diddy party. We got turned away.
Oh my God,
You're too weird for us.
we can't hang with the Stingray. Again, like definitely one of the best parts of the whole show is Stingray rescuing LaRusso at night in the Camaro. He puts the sunglasses on a pitch black road.
tinted windows.
Yeah, with tinted windows. What are you doing? Stingray see better at night. That is comedy gold.
Or in part 1, it was definitely one of the highlights of part 1 where to motivate Johnny, he has all these like kids in the woods, like, and he has Crease's like speeches from the movies on replay on a boombox.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like what? Like that dude would have been arrested. It's not even like he took a bunch of like college kids. Like these are all like, how old were they? Like
They're like kids. They're like fourth graders or something.
he like told the one kid like have his mom like respond to one of his like texts or something like that. Or
Oh yeah.
So I'm definitely, like I said, we did our predictions. I'm curious how it all plays out. I am going to be sad when Cobra Kai is done because very seldom do I have a show that I like watching or I'm looking forward to. So it's going to be a couple months until we talk about Cobra Kai again, and then we're definitely going to be talking about that Karate Kid movie whenever it comes out next year.
do they have a release date for it?
It's May 30th,
May
2025.
30th, 2025. So I'll be interested to see what that's going to be.
Colin's gonna be at the midnight premiere.
I'll probably see. That would be like a Thursday night premiere for me.
No, you're going at midnight, like
I don't think
the
they
good
do
old days.
midnight. I don't think they do that anymore.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I don't know what our episodes are going to be for next week.
Red one.
But it's been fun talking about part two. I guess let's
Red one.
quickly summarize. Yeah, probably. I liked it. Not as good. It's better than part one, but still kind of lacking. Daniel, summarize in a quick sentence.
I enjoyed it much more than part one.
Mm-hmm.
There's it has its issues, but I enjoyed the ridiculousness it brought back.
Mm-hmm. Craig.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think everyone's saying this is better than part one. I'm hoping they stick the landing and kind of give everyone a happy ending.
Unlike Quan.
Yeah, unlike our boy Quan. Well, with all that being said, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I am Colin,
Craig.
And I'm broommating.
and we will see you next time.